Wouldn't you agree with me in saying that there seems to be an epidemic of an addiction to pornography and masturbation in our society today? What is good is fantastic, and what's fantastic is today. What is not so fantastic, though, is the number of people who seem to be addicted to pornography and masturbation. In fact, the reason why I record these videos is because I feel like I have a divine duty and a responsibility to share my experiences. Firstly, because my experience healing from an addiction to PMO was so beautiful. And secondly, I would want anybody who is addicted to this horrible vice to break free from it, because life on the other side is so much better, right? They say that the grass isn't always greener, but in the case of an addiction to pornography and masturbation, breaking free from that addiction will take you to a patch where the grass is a whole lot greener. That is one thing that I can promise. Now, on the discussion of pornography ruining people's lives, this is very true. It's very real, and it's happening now. It's happening today. I say this because when I was in the midst of my addiction to PMO, I didn't realize what I was doing to myself. I didn't see how much I was destroying my own life, my own potential, my future. Really, I was just ruining myself, right? I was committing a form of self-destruction on a daily basis every time I decided to put on pornography and masturbate to it. I am now in a position where I no longer rely on pornography and masturbation. But in order to get to this stage, I've had to work extremely hard. I've had to be disciplined. I've had to be committed. And an example I will give you is when I first started my NoFap journey, I'd say in the first 2 years. Bear in mind, it took me 5 years to fully master the movement of NoFap. I was constantly relapsing. I was always relapsing. But I didn't beat myself up for it. I told myself I needed to get up off my feet and to continue going, because the minute you give up, the minute you stop putting in the hard work, is the minute you're going to fail. So when people talk about how successful people have failed countless times, I can now vouch for that. I know that saying is very true. Even though it sounds corny, it's the simple truth. Regardless of how many times you fail, you have to continue going, because there will be success at some point. You can only do something so many times before it eventually clicks. And that's exactly what I experienced with NoFap. The biggest problem with addictions to pornography and masturbation is that the effects are long-term. So if you're in the midst of an addiction to PMO, you might not even know that you're addicted to pornography and masturbation. You might not even want to admit to yourself that you're addicted to PMO, right? But when you start a journey of NoFap, then that's when you begin to see how detrimental the effects of porn and masturbation were actually having on your life. And so what I'm trying to say in this video is that you need to realize that you're addicted to pornography and masturbation, if you are, as soon as you can. Because the sooner that you can begin your healing process, the sooner you're going to deter these long-term effects. And these long-term effects are extremely dangerous because you don't see them coming. They only hit you when you least expect them, right? When you least need them to hit you. For example, social anxiety, right? If you're a young man in your late teens, early 20s, there's going to come a time in your life very soon, if it hasn't already occurred, where you have to be confident in social situations, whether that's in the workplace, in meetings, whether that's in public, whether that's online, whatever path you decide to endeavor down, you need to be confident as a man, because it's part of our divine masculine nature is to be confident in situations. As men, we are leaders. That's just one example of something that is going to hinder your progress as a man, right? Social anxiety through watching pornography and masturbation. At some point, I presume that you might want to have a family, right? You might want a girlfriend, you might want a wife, you might want multiple wives, you might want children. But in order to get to that stage, in order to get to that position, you need to be socially confident and you need to be normal. You need to be yourself around these women. If you continue watching pornography and masturbating to it, you're going to destroy every single chance you have ever being yourself around a woman. That is something that I can vouch for, because when I began my journey of healing from an addiction to pornography and masturbation, I realized that I just couldn't be myself around women. I wasn't confident around women. I wasn't able to express my divine masculine energy and traits around women, which obviously had an effect on the relationships I was able to have with them. So you really have to consider the fact that the benefits of no fap are gonna really heal you in terms of a journey. But more importantly, the detrimental effects of an addiction to PMO are gonna hit you in the long run. And they're going to hinder your progress, right? More than you'd like them to. And I say this because you can't quite see them coming yet. You can't quite see the detrimental effects that porn and masturbation are having on your life. And the biggest reason for this is because it's normalized in our society. I've seen articles online, videos online of doctors advocating for masturbation, saying that it helps with anxiety, it helps with sleep. That certainly hasn't been the case for me. And even if it does help you sleep, it's not going to help you become a successful man. So really, you have to take a step back, analyze what is really going on. Ask yourself the question, why is pornography so accessible online? Who is actually benefiting from having this content accessible to human beings? Right? It's the people who are siphoning the very same energy that you give away when you decide to orgasm to pornography. The rich will stay richer and the poorer will stay poorer. That's such a corny saying, but it's so true in terms of being the best we can in life, in terms of being leaders, in terms of being men. We have to fight against evil. And this is what we're here to do. And so I hope this video helps. Divine Masculine Tantra. I hope to see you on the next video.